Welcome to our tutorial on supta padagusthasana. So this is a supine lying down on the mat activity. So notice I've got my sexiest yoga gear on for this because yoga doesn't need much, it just needs you and your breath. So just hop on your mat, doesn't matter what you look like. So I've got a trusty strap here which is going to come in super handy. Now, you might know this pose because we've done it before standing up. So this is the variation that gives you the ability to find a little bit more flexibility without the balancing aspect of the posture. So the way we come into this is lying on the back. The good old lying on the back feels so lovely. So where we're going to start is I'm going to start by elongating the spine, slight tuck of the chin here, a little bit of length through the back of the neck, hands by the side body, and I've flexed the feet. So if you have a little bit of hamstring flexibility already, you can go ahead and lift that right foot, take your peace fingers and put them inside or wrap them around your big toe and press your toe away. And what we're going to start doing is drawing the leg back towards the head or the chest whilst keeping that left leg lengthened on the floor and the left heel driving away from the crown of the head. Now, if you're not as flexible, bring both feet up to the butt and then you can extend from here. So that just takes a little bit of pressure off the lumbar spine, off the lower spine, and might give you a little bit more flexibility from here. Ultimately, what you want to do is get down to that straight leg variation. So there is another alternative, and that's where this handy strap comes in. Now this is my mat strap, and you might have a yoga strap. If you're getting a yoga strap, I did talk about this earlier, is a cotton one is way better than a nylon one. So, but you can use a t-shirt, a towel, a tea towel, whatever you've got handy. So if you still don't reach the leg, this is a really, really great way to start. So I've got that foot flexed and I can pull that toe back towards the head. So I'm going to hold this here for about 2 or 3 breaths. I want to continue to press that left leg down and away. As I inhale the breath, I gently pull that leg towards my head and try and keep my hips squared and drawing the pelvis down away from the crown of the head and the length of the back body pressing into the mat. And it actually feels quite nice. So on the next inhale breath, after you've taken about 5 breaths there, you can stay longer if you like. You're going to take an inhale and you're going to swing this leg out to the right. So what we want to do here is I've still got my trusty strap. You might still be able to have that peace finger grip on the toe. But what we want to see is this rotation of the hip. So we don't want this lift here. We want to keep the hips nice and square onto the ground. So we're just opening that leg. We've got a little bit of extension through the adductor here. And we're rotating that right hip down. So you should feel that external rotation that actually draws that hip down and allows you to open up that side leg. So you can get quite a good grip with this right hand onto that right foot. And it feels quite nice. And you can stay here for 5 rounds of breath. We're still driving that left hip down into the earth and sending that heel away from the crown of the head. And I'm just resting my left hand on my hip so that I can make sure that my hips are squared off, because there can be a tendency to roll to one side. We don't want to do that. We want to stay grounded and connected. So you can exhale and release that foot down to the floor. There is another variation which I will show you on this side. I'm just going to unhook this foot. And we're going to start our padagusthasana supine variation, supta, lying on the floor. So again, if you don't have that flexibility and you might differ leg to leg, you can use the strap, you can use your trusty old hand which is attached to your arm, which is attached to your torso at the shoulder, or you can use the strap, totally up to you. You can even bend your leg if that's going to take a little pressure off the lumbar or lower spine. So you're going to inhale the breath, lift that left leg, peace fingers interlaced around the toes. Inhale, draw the leg back towards the chest. right leg, hip stays down, length of the body on the mat, flexing the foot, heel pressing away from the head towards the end of the mat. 2 more rounds of breath here. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Try and apply that word surrender here. With the next inhale, we're going to open to the side, keeping that right hip down on the earth, connected to the mat. We want to feel that external rotation of the hip and the drawing down of the pelvic girdle or the pelvis. I'm going to keep maintaining that grip, and this is where we can start to pull that leg up towards the head, just making sure that you're not losing any of that connection to the earth on the right hand side of the body. 5 breaths, little adjustments, micro adjustments as we go along. You might need to straighten that knee a little. You might feel you can pull that up to the chest, up to the side of the head. You might even be able to wrap this hand around here. Totally up to you. Inhale, come back to the center. So the last part of this posture is that you actually lift the head and touch the head to the knee, because when we're standing in our Ashtanga series, that's actually part of the practice. So just to get you in tune for that, we practice that on this side of the floor, in this supine variation. So that is our lying down variation, our supta padagusthasana, hand to big toe posture. I look forward to seeing you on our next tutorial.